very special guest with us today, Debbie Dunning. With she's going to be appearing at Planet Comicon. It is going to be March 17th, 18th, and 19th in Kansas City. It is the region's largest comic event in the Midwest. Tickets are on sale now. And something special about this is the first time that Comic Con has a Nostalgia Alley. Can you talk about your fans, what you're going to be doing it there?
Well, I am so excited because I'm going to bring a ton of pictures from the past when we were actually working on the show, pictures from my calendar, a few pictures of the cast, a lot of singles. I do have a couple calendars that I'm going to bring. I was lucky enough to find those. They've been hidden away in the garage. And since I just went through a flood, everything is brought back up. And I found a lot of scripts, the original scripts that we were given every single day. So I'm going to bring some of those out and I'm going to be selling those, just little memorabilia that I've had. And I feel like sharing with my fans.
You're actually doing two different options. You have two options for your fans for, I believe it's called photo booth.
Yes. So if they come up to the table, we can take a selfie and we can do a signed autograph. And if they do both, then they get a little deal. It's called a combo. Or they can get a professional photo, which we'll have a different time each day. And they just buy it ahead of time, set up for the time, and they come in and I come back and we get together and it's professionally done and they come out really nicely.
I want to mention, I hadn't seen this listed yet for the panel times. Are you going to be giving any panels to the fans while you are there?
I will if they'd like me to. I haven't heard about any panels yet, but if they have something, I would love to answer some questions. I usually do.
I'm excited to see if you for attending that. Speaking of the Comic Con, is there any other guests there that you're excited to get to see to hang out with?
No, just kidding. I'm only there for me. No, there's a lot of people that I get to see at these Comic Cons, so I'm kind of excited. I'm not exactly sure who's coming that I've worked with before, but I do know that it's kind of a reunion for us. It's kind of exciting when you go to these once or twice a year and you see the same people. I don't know, it's just, yeah, I get to see people from my past, people I grew up with, and I actually, do the same thing. I go over, I'm like, hey, can I get an autograph? Can I get a selfie? So I've got quite a collection going myself.
I read where you were on, I believe it was Boy Meets World. Mr. Daniels is going to be at this convention too.
Well, good. I'm going to come and say hello to him.
Another way that fans can reach out to you, which we're going to plug the links onto this, is you're active on Cameo.
I'm active on Cameo, and on March 1st, I'm going to be doing a store. I'm going to be doing the Debbie Dunning store. So that's going to be really exciting. You can find it on my Instagram. I'm going to announce it probably in the next couple of days.
And then
On the store, you can get certain things like a regular autograph picture. You can get T-shirts, all sorts of things. The scripts will be there. My calendar, remember this one? I've only got a couple of these left. So you can get that on the store. Yeah, Cameo is great because if someone wants to wish somebody a happy birthday or something, then they'll get in touch with me and I'll send them a special message. I'm also on TikTok, Debbie Dunning Official.
Okay.
What else, Richie?
DebbieDunning.com is the store.
Okay.
DebbieDunning.com.
Okay. My store is called DebbieDunning.com, but you have to make sure you spell it right. There's no I in Debbie. There's no I in team. There's no I in fear. We're doing this.
There we go.
I had really great response from Instagram. I don't know why it's taken me so long, but my daughter and her boyfriend sat down with me and said, it's time. It's time for you to open up your own store. I was like, who's going to want it? And I had such tremendous feedback that I can't wait. So we're going to launch it March 1st.
We're coming up on that too. It's going to be in a few days away.
Yeah. Good thing it's not leap year.
I wanted to talk briefly about your Cameo. Also with Richard being on there, what's it like when you guys get to show up at the conventions together?
It's fantastic. When Richard and I show up together, people get so excited because when we do the photo ops, we'll do them together. So they'll pay for him and myself, but they'll be sandwiched into like a little home improvement sandwich. I'll get in the middle of that.
One of the things that we need to plug, obviously, is Dude Ranch.
My Dude Ranch show. Yeah, I came up with the concept a few years ago, and it's called Debbie Dunning's Dude Ranch Roundup. It's on the Cowboy Channel, and you can also find it on my YouTube page. I'm putting all those shows there now because people are like, I don't know how to find it. So you can look at my YouTube page, and it will be there. I've shot 50 ranches in the past few years, and it basically showcases travel these dude ranches. It's like if you fell in love with watching the movie Yellowstone, then you're really going to watch this, because this will show you where to go, what you will do at that dude ranch, and how to get there.
I want to ask, from season 1, episode 1, White Stallion, what's the experience been like, and is there a ranch that you want to visit that you haven't got to go to yet?
First of all, I love that you brought up White Stallion. White Stallion was one of the first dude ranches I took my daughter to, and she was 12. And I remember talking to the owner, Russell True, and saying, "This is your life every day." I mean, I'm falling in love with it. And I continued to think about it and continued to think about it. And I went back to that dude ranch, and I said to him, "I need you to help me. I've got an idea for a dude ranch show." And he goes, "Anything you want." And so he held my hand for the first probably year, and basically guided me to all these tremendous dude ranches where you can go in a hot air balloon, you can golf, you can cut horses, you can go down a white water rafting. There are so many things. You can learn to lasso. You can do bow and arrow, shoot guns. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the trailer, but I've shot, well, probably every single gun there is. Maybe not every single gun, but a lot of them. The thing about dude ranches, I was really surprised, is the food. The food is tremendous. I thought I was going to go and it was going to be ribs and potatoes and hamburgers and hot dogs. The chefs that they pull in really carry the kitchen. There's a lot of I was so blessed. I got to do Ted Turner's ranch called Vermejo in New Mexico. And I was trying to tell Ted's story. Ted's an incredible guy. Ted Turner. Did I say that yet? I don't think I did.
No,
Ted
not yet.
Turner. So Ted Turner's got this save everything philosophy where we want to bring the land back to what it was. If he sees one of his meadows and the water isn't doing well, he brings a team of people in, and they're like, "Well, the problem was you had cows. So we have to get rid of the cows because they're ruining the side of the water where all the meadow is growing, and the fish can't spawn and they can't lay their eggs." So he has changed everything. He's brought back the Rio Grande red cutthroat trout. Insane what this man has done. He's like one of the largest landowners in the world, and his land is not being, you know, taken to his children. His land for the rest of his life will be like that. The land will stay preserved and give these bison that he's brought back the population, and the Rio Grande cutthroat trout and everything else that he's worked so hard for will stay that way. And the money that is made from visiting these places will continue to run these ranches.
I read online that when you film in Dude Ranch, you have to do it in about 3 days. You do 7 days of work in 3 days.
Yes, I wish it was more, because I really have a good time, and it's an exhausting schedule. But to film that many ranches in 1 year, I got to keep moving. It's crazy because I will get on the plane, land, rent a car, drive 3.5 hours, drive 4 hours, drive 2 hours, whatever it is, get to the ranch, do the authentic hello right when I get there. My guys will go ahead, they'll do it, because everything on my show is done for the first time. Authenticity to me is the number one thing about me that I want to send that message. There's nothing fake. We never do anything over again. So once I get there, I introduce myself, I meet the ranch owner, and then we go into a dinner and we talk about the schedule. So we talk about the schedule the next day. I'm like, okay, this is what I need. So I bring a lot of different clothes, so it looks like different days, but it's exhausting. It's exhausting, but I can do it. I don't know why I still have all this energy, but I do. Thank you, God.
You and me are both involved with foundations, and we like to help out when we can. You attended the George Lopez Foundation, and you did an interview where you talked about Kidney Foundation. What was that experience like, and how do you help in giving back?
That one is a really good one. That one is a good one because my father has had, let me do this again. I love that one. Hold on a second, I'm getting a little
Sorry.
choked up. I love the George Lopez Kidney Foundation um, golf tournament because my father has benefited from 2 transplants, which he's still with us, fortunately. But if he hadn't, he wouldn't be. He used to go into dialysis and he would sit there for 5 hours and have his blood cleaned. And then he would come home and he would be so exhausted, his day was gone. And then he'd have the very next day to try to get things done. And then the next day, the third day, he'd have to go back in again. So, someone who has not had a kidney transplant, who's thinking about it, it really does give you some of your life back. So, he's had 2 particular different cases where he had the first kidney and then that one had a little bit of problems. So he was fortunate enough to get a second kidney. Weird thing about kidney transplants, I'll tell you really quick, is they cut it off and they put the other one in and they don't take the other one out. So technically he's got like 4. But yeah, that George Lopez is a good buddy of mine. Everybody from that foundation, Linda Small, the one who runs it, they're tremendous people. And they know how important that particular one is for me. But, I lost my best friend to cancer. There's certain tournaments that do breast cancer. Anthony Falco has one in Pennsylvania. He brought my family and I last year, and it was about cancer. His wife had cancer twice and it came back. And so now, it's like taking a negative and turning it into a positive. So I feel so lucky just to be a normal person, to be thrown into these things and be able to help out. Because, first of all, I love golf, I love travel, but I love giving back because I have been so blessed in my life.
I help a lot with the Humane Society here, and I do what I can for that and homeless people.
Oh, that's good. That's another thing. Like mental illness and homelessness, I think sometimes goes hand in hand. Um, well, I don't know, after COVID, homelessness is a lot, it's a lot stronger than it ever used to be.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Usually, whenever I check into a hotel, I have what's called the hotel challenge. Everything that I get for free in the hotel, I personally hand out to 2 or 3 homeless people when I see them on the street.
Oh, really? Like the soap and the
So
stuff
I
with
ask for all the
shampoo?
cups, and they'll usually give you like a food voucher or candy bars and stuff. And then I'll
Yeah.
personally go. It's only enough for 2 or 3 people, but that's 2 or 3 people that I made a difference in.
Yeah. So it's funny you would say that. So I love cooking and it's just me and my son right now. And he's 14 and he doesn't always like mom's cooking. But when I want to make chili, I'm not making a little chili. So I make a huge vat of it. And I get these mason jars and all my Tupperware lined up. And I live in a place where I see homeless people right before I get on the freeway. And so I kind of just put it on park benches. I put it on bus stops. Sometimes I give it right to them, but it doesn't come by itself. It comes with bread and it comes with napkins and silverware just because you can't assume they have all that. So you just kind of go here. I do it constantly and I do it by myself and it's something that just makes me feel better. I just it's so sad, especially now with the weather how it is. You see this state of homeless people and they're out there and you're like, how it is when you're just a little cold. You just want to get into like a hot bed, a warm bed, or a hot bath. And you look at it and you're like, there's nothing you can do. So that's good. Every little bit counts. I would say to people out there, if you're thinking about it, do it. Don't hesitate. Don't go, oh, I should have. Just do it. Do it. People have this perception that homeless people are scary. They're not scary. They're just homeless. They're hungry and they're tired and they're hurting. They're in a bad place in their life. Sometimes they are mentally ill. Most of the time, I find a lot of them are mentally ill, but they never say no to help.
Well, it only takes one person to make a difference.
Yeah. Are you going to be there at the Comic Con?
Yes, I will be there Friday and Saturday.
Oh, okay.
I've been covering it for, I believe we're on 11 years now.
Okay.
You did mention golf. That was one of the questions that I had to bring up. You have, it was my notes. You have been playing for 20 years. How did you get started?
To be honest, I was pregnant with my daughter on the show, and Richard Karn was from Seattle, and he had a golf tournament. And, I was big. I wasn't sure if I was going to be good, but he's like, oh, come on, you got to come out. So I did. And with the belly and all, I golfed, and they're like, oh, you're a natural. And I really wasn't very good. I really wasn't. But I was encouraged enough to think I was. So as soon as as soon as I had my baby, my daughter, people who saw me at that golf tournament put me on their list. And it's kind of one of those things. I've never had a golf agent or anybody to represent me in the golf world, but I sure do love it. And now I go, I mean, if I wanted to, I could be doing golf every other weekend. I really could. I mean, if I had, retired, I would be doing it, golf tournaments. But I have a very select few tournaments that I make sure I go back to every year. It's hard because when you're working, sometimes you miss them and you're like, oh, I hope they don't take me off their list. But this year I will be in Pennsylvania and Florida and Ireland and Detroit and South Carolina. I mean, Arizona. I'm going to be all over the place. And I mean, it's just great. I get to travel, I get to see stuff. I meet people I would never have met before. And it's kind of crazy. Networking through golf has become, it's kind of how I got my show. I just sat there for 5 hours with the owner of RFD TV, and he's like, you're so fantastic. You got to do a show. So it took me about 6 months. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll just follow golf. And he's like, no, 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 it doesn't sound good to me. So one day I was like, you know what I love to do? I mean, I can't imagine it being a job, but I love going to dude ranches. And it has been my passion. And I've shot 50. So it's
Is
been
there
pretty great.
is there any upcoming projects for 2023 or 2024 that you are allowed to talk about or announce yet?
Well, I have just recently left the Cowboy Channel and I'm getting back into Hollywood. So I'm here in LA today. I'm going to be doing headshots and I've got a new agent for modeling and I also have a new agent for acting and commercials. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's been a while. It's been a blink, but I'm coming back out there. So I don't have a particular project right now, but I'm sure you'll hear about it. I'm all over Instagram and I post almost every other day because people want to know. And I don't know why they want to know, but I'm glad they still do.
We want to remind our fans that Comic Con's coming up the 17th through the 19th. We'll have tickets. We're going to obviously have all your links to it. And then when you launch your site on the 1st, I'll be sure to add that to it. Is there anything else that you want to plug or talk about?
Well, my Instagram is at Debbie Dunning, just DebbedUnning. And I just want to say to some of the people listening, the fans, if you have any suggestions what I should have at my new store, let me know because I've had a couple people say bikini shots. We're going to have all that. Please don't ask for nudes. That's something I've never done and I never will. So that shouldn't even be brought up. But I just don't want to even deal with those comments. It's a respectful, classy website, and I'm going to always keep it that way.
Well, I like to thank you for your time. And then I look forward to seeing you in 3 weeks at Comic Con.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. It's exciting. Kansas City, I've never been.